A Hairier Problem. Rise of the Furball. By Blue Bastard. Chapter 27. Daughters of Darkness. Are you sure about things? Asked Apple Bloom. Well, I say it was for the best, her and Raz, so I gotta believe him, replied Applejack, no eager about to marry their younger sister. Well, yeah, I'm no good at lying. How I managed to keep it down last time for so long is beyond me. But even though I was cured, I just know Big Mac's been keeping an eye on me just to make sure. Just keep it cool out, guys. Applewood's voice didn't carry confidence. As it was, both apples were sitting on the edge of the farm, having to go on a late-night run following leaving an impromptu celebration at Taylor's retreat. They were in their wolf forms, having decided it would be for the best to stick to the trees to remain out of sight, until they could get back on the main path in their regular forms. First, they had to make sure no pony was around, especially not the two ponies who stood to be hurt the most. Even if they had to find out about it tonight, at least most they'll lose is a decent night's sleep. Zach buzzed for Applebloom to follow. As they did so, they shifted back to their normal pony forms. The only noise they heard was the clip-clopping of their hooves as they approached the familiar homestead. Thankfully, the sound of loud snoring indicated Granny was asleep, but it still left Big Mac unaccounted for. "Oh, please sleep, Big Brother," whispered Applebloom, first going to the house. This was her home. She lived here all her life, even seeing it when the only light coming out of the windows was from the moon. But now, something felt out of place. Like it didn't belong. It was her. "You feel it too, huh?" Applejack's voice came from behind, slight undertone of sorrow in it. "I felt it back then, too. Worst feeling ever." "Even more than when you changed?" "Worse than both times. Combined, even. Get used to the change, becomes something other than a pony. But the feeling that this isn't where you belong, you don't go away. Not until you truly come to terms with yourself. As it was with me back when I told Labor Pony after Cerberus attacked Rarity's house. Only I doubt it's as bad for you as it was for me, since you had confidence." "What are you talking about?" Applejack looked back at her and smiled. "You think I believe something like becoming a werewolf could happen to you? Somehow both Sweet and School would be kept in the dark? I reckon they knew from the beginning, not they." "Oh, yeah," confessed Appleplum. "They actually were with me when it happened." "Look, don't be a saint. You trusted them more than you trust me or the rest of the family," comforted Applejack. "Only, you should have told us from the beginning, but you had your reasons of wanting to keep the family out of it. Spare us more pain. So, you turned to the most trustworthy ponies you knew. Now that we all know, it's time to tell Granny and Big Mac. They need to know." "Myra, of course," said Applebloom, indirectly reminding Applejack the apples were asleep. "Yeah, tomorrow. But now, I think we need some rest," replied Applejack with a wink and a smile. With a final hug, the two sisters parted ways at the top of the stairs to go to their respective rooms. Only, after Applebloom fully closed her door, "Cuz!" came the husk cry of one Babs Apple, taking it to her cousin to a big hug. "Babs! Glad to see some ponies awake to welcome me back." "You kidding? I haven't seen you in days, not since Nightmare Night. It's true that Raspberry Bell is in fact a dark magic user, that he's descended from King Subaru himself, that—" Whoa, slow down, Babs. Look, I'm tired. As much as I got stories to tell, I'm sure you got news to fill in me about what the Crusaders are doing. Yes, it's the most important member. "Actually, there's something you gotta know about what we decided, but—" Babs with an evil smirk. "You'll have to wait tomorrow, since you won't tell me now." "Right, well, can I go back to my bed?" This is my room. Yours does next to mine, remember?" "Oh, right." Applebloom blushed as she backpedaled out past his room, go back to her own. The next morning. "I trust you slept well?" asked Twilight, with no smile on her face. "You have no idea," smiled Raspberry. "The fact I could sleep like a normal pony for the first time in my life, without my damn horn and peely pillows thanks to you enchanting them, it was heavenly, to put it mildly." "I'm glad to hear it," laughed the Alicorn. "Though I must admit, I still find it amusing that for all the power Sombra had, he doesn't seem to be able to cast a protection charm on mere pillows to sleep well." "I personally think he slips on rocks, honestly." "Well, he was all about those crystals." "Yes, my crystal pillows," mocked Raspberry, and her strangled impersonation of Sombra, complete with a cockeyed expression. Both Unicorn and Alicorn laughed heartily. "It's good to see you in such high spirits, at least," noted Twilight. Last time you were here at Ponyville Station, you were understandably glum. What are you talking about? Sir, I've been separated from Healy and was probably going to be put to death for my magic handicap, but otherwise, I was just dandy, Raspberry sarcastically replied. In all seriousness, I wasn't sure I was ever going to be back here, or see Healy again for that matter. As that bit of summons, a flash of green from the sky was seen only for a moment before the brilliant bird dived off to a lower altitude. It soared with wide wings around the station, attracting the attention of all ponies who were waiting for their trains. So off, grumbled Twilight good naturedly. She was still getting the hang of her wings. Flying was no longer a problem, but anything more complicated than a bank turn was still beyond her grasp. But soon, there was something else to focus on. Oh, hey, it's here! A high-pitched whistle, sounding far deeper than a normal train whistle, sounded in the distance. All the ponies who had heard it lost interest in the Phoenix and looked down the track to see the source of the mysterious sound. Unidor himself lighted atop his mistress' horns in curiosity. Soon, the magical machine came into view on the horizon. It was like anything of the ponies there had been. A completely crystal train. The engine billowed pink smoke from its smokestack. Its plow-like design did have a small set of train cars that, together, looked more like a wheeled snake than the common trains, or even steamliner like the Greenbrier that passed through once or twice a week. Unmistakable was the sound of brakes, which unfortunately didn't sound quite as nice with the loud screeching. Nonetheless, the train noisily came to a halt and set of doors right in front of Twilight Raspberry. They opened, revealing two occupants, Princess Cadence and Prince Consort shining armor. Wow, this is the new royal train? Asked Twilight pressed. Yep, confirmed Sidney. This is actually its first major run since finished testing. Obviously, the brakes need work. But it's unbelievably comfortable, added Cadence, and briefly struck forward a part of her body wave. The ponies on the platform, before signaling to the conductor to depart. The useful reference isn't found here. Something to do with the new suspension chassis or whatever. So you could probably go into more detail about it. Can you explain why? Ooh, said Raspberry, cut off by the silent lurching of the train car as the engine pulled its coasters away from the station. Well, she regained balance as you continue. Explain why there isn't accommodations for Healy in here? Oh, sorry I realized that somehow. The instructions for furnishing the interior of the Royal Crystal Train had not included something as simple as a bird stand. You could have simply asked Raspberry to keep her pet on her horn. Certainly, even though her horn was capable of the otherwise impossible due to its true form. It was an awkward position to have to handle for several hours straight. Don't worry, if you forgot, not many ponies have birds for pets either. Though I thought you had one, Twilight? You mean Allie? Replied the purple alicorn. He's still a Canterlot, though now that Princess Celestia said I need to stay in Ponyville to watch over you, we'll be picking him up on the long way to the Crystal Empire, both him and Spike. Wow, that sounds like a perfectly good excuse for why Twilight gets to stay in Ponyville, even though it never needed to happen in the first place. Good catch-up. Oh, he's good to go now? Asked Raspberry, lifting her forelegs for Heliodor to transfer to. Yeah, his show's all healed up. It'll be good to have my number one assistant back. That's great. Hey, Raspberry? Cautiously asked Cadence, noticing why Raz had moved to Heliodor. What are you doing? Making a birthday, of course, replied the unicorn, as if the most natural thing in the world. Nancy remembered how she was going mad at. Oh, sorry for not warning you beforehand, Your Majesties. You could concert at bird stand? Well, sorta. I was just going to make one with my magic, provided that's okay with you. Actually, I think we all like a demonstration of creative magic, provided you don't turn it on us, of course. Now, I wouldn't be a very good guess if that was the case now, would it? But please, stand back. A grasping needs our space. The two alicorns as Stallion backed up to give the requested space. Heliodor opting to depart its four-leg roost for the ground. Gently smiling, Raspberry turned to face the other end of the coach, the dark bubbly aura intensifying around her horn. With a deep breath, she seemed to take a moment of concentration before opening her eyes and letting the magic flow. Instantly, the spontaneous eruption of dark crystal was unearthing as the giant monolith of black appeared violently. Only for a second as it reached its set height, where it stopped growing. A little twists of her head as if her horn to create a concert, her horn in place of a conductor stick. She broke off multiple pieces of the large creation. Twilight, Shiny, and Cadence watched in awe as the stars were subtly refined in midair to a jeweler's tools and started to chip away the dark crystal. Large chunks were carved off, but dissolved into nothing as they fell for the sculpture, not even leaving dust. Distantly, more beams of magic shot from her horn, but these circled around like gathering clouds, descending upon the work in progress like a fog. Upon contact, the black crystals shifted in coloration, the dark hues changing from black to pitch black to an almost clear turquoise that matched the walls of the coach perfectly. No sign of the shadows hidden by illusion. Now almost completed birdstand had lost a lot of hot weight. Last giant chunk falling off, but instead dissolving. This chunk seemed to become a project in itself, quickly becoming a well-crafted rack that the now rainbow-colored set of tools fit into. With one final twist in the neck, the bird stand levitated from the ground, as if proof it wasn't attached to the shrink-hard floor. With the set of tools made as part of the project racked, and, let hanging in the air, was dark aura, even as the bird stand was settled. Theodore tweeted happily as he descended from his new throne. There isn't really anywhere I can put this, said Raspberry, trying to find the best place to put the tools. I'm not much of an interior designer. Oh, let me take it, replied Cadence, but was stopped by Shining. Katie, no, you're still weak around dark magic. Huh? What are you? Asked Raz before remembering Sabra's brief ray of terror. Oh, I understand. Her head and ears drooped. Shiny! Angrily chastised the pig pony. I know you're looking out for me, but it's a bit hypocritical for her defense lawyer to be accusing her of the very thing you were defending her on, isn't it? No, he's right. I've heard how you go up against Sabra's magic. It's best not to risk. Cadence with a huff, lit up her own magic. Instantly, the dark aura around the tools was showing by a bright blue. I may be highly emotive, but that's how I know your magic won't hurt me, even as descended from Sabra. While I know a little of dark magic, I know it has ties to emotion in its own way. Anyway, the hatred and greed that fill most ponies who are driven to seeking the dark arts, to which Sabra himself is no exception. Felt in his magic back when the Empire was under siege, his pure, raw hatred being what primarily was his greatest weapon against me. Of course, your magic isn't fueled by rage and anger, it's just different. Thanks, Princess Cadence, acknowledged Raz, removing prudence as he let her magic drop. Now, these are just beautiful. Guessed Cadence as she took each tool in her magic turn. I know they're sculpting tools, but this is the perfect spot. Reassembled in the rack, the tools were placed in a perfectly sized spot on one of the bolted down seats. You truly have a level of skill of your magic few ponies your age have. Katie, you're not going to suggest what I think you're going to suggest, are you? Moaned Shining. Suggest what? Inquired Twilight. Shiny, we can't let someone like Sabra's old sanctuary be wasted because of our own ignorance. He said firmly, a hardness coming to her eyes. When the next best thing to Sabra literally dropped into our... Excuse me? Exclaimed Raspberry. Cadence realized her mistake, taking a deep, calming breath. You're to be a princess as much as Twilight and myself, or Shining as a prince. To refer to you as anything less is beyond irreproachable and disrespectful. It's no excuse, but if you couldn't tell, this has been a hotly debated topic between my husband and I. Well, I'd like to know what it is, since I can only guess it involves my magic. Indeed. Your husband, as it were, to be the go-to expert in situations involving dark magic on a level even the highest level unicorn mages do not dare to try and understand. As it stands, there is such a problem in the Crystal Castle. Back when Applejack was initially a werewolf, we sent Sandalwood and Lyra to do some research in the Crystal Empire, explained Twilight. Only when they arrived, the Cadence revealed that inside the castle was Sabra's own personal library, where he recorded the most ghastly of things. They were able to find some stuff about Applejack's condition, just in time too, I might add. But part of that involved removing a book from the room, continued Shining. Ever since the protective spells Sabra put on it have been getting stronger, it seems. Originally, we had some specially certified mages working on cataloging what they could, but now no pony can really go in there without Forrest getting a crippling headache. And as for Katie herself, especially don't go into that. Cut off the little princess. I see, said Raspberry, getting an understanding of the intentions of Hoof. It stands to reason that only a pony Sabra would recognize as worthy of the secrets, such as an heir, would be able to enter that room at this point. Hence, you want me to basically be a librarian? More than that. The truth is, even the mages who were able to do anything in the room to read info, nobody really knew what the hell they were looking at. Sandalwood and Lyra were going through the old experiments, which, while no less terrible, were at least legible. But now the mages are actually scared to go any further, even if the endurance will last in the room, since it is, well, dark magic and all. Mrs. Sandalwood and Lyra got the info about werewolves from the inner library? Asked Redberry, her focus intent on detail. Yes, it's regrettable that a place as bright and happy as the Crystal Empire will forever bear the horrific history of what Sombra did, answered Kids. And worse still, that the ponies of the day must revisit that terror through his writings in order to stop the ones that survived the ravages of time. But considering that there are now 3 ponies who are werewolves, along with this unknown threat to Asfair we must call upon the ancient text again. And as much as I hate doing this to you, the day after you're left free, but... No, I understand, cut off Raspberry. It's my task to go through his works to help better defend Equestria. Furthermore, I can't help but feel guilty for having been the reason Applejack becoming a werewolf again. So I insist I would be allowed to do this, even if you didn't, because it may be the only hope they have being restored for real design. Thank you, Raspberry, so I smiled with appreciation. Now, we still got a long ride to the Empire, so let's talk about something a bit better, since it's getting the foundations for this coronation underway. Good afternoon. Both of you are joking, right? Asked Granny incredulously. I hope you are, even though normally you eat crazy jokes to that part of these. Yup, added Big Mac just as concerned. I wish we were, folks, answered Applejack. Well, the truth is that whatever happened down Fairfist's grave did fully cure me. For what the girls and I figure. Look, you don't care how happy Applejack, interrupted Green. Not for you, werewolves. Might as well get over the shock value and show you ourselves. As a quick exchange looked at between the Apple sisters and Sarah's side, there were grimaces on their faces they shifted. The atmosphere almost anticlimactic in how Granny and Big Mac reacted. How long? Asked Mac in a sigh. Depends on which one of us, actually, said Applejack. Really? Turns out I was only partially cured. I could throw a different lift in my blood. 0 months with me, said Apple Bloom. Nobody's sure how I got it. Granny shook her head with disbelief. I have to assume that he can fake labor happy and he ever freaking hits into the new lease. Yeah, pretty much. You're not gonna like the full story. I don't like it now. Where request for you to come in and actually make it worse? Because of who attacked Apple Bloom, groaned Applejack. Horned Apple Bloom lightning dust, sees the ghost of Fair Thistles, they say a face of what Sable them started. Well, how? Stubborn Applejack. No Polynos, not even Raspberry. Despite having the same kind of magic he's used to create this damn curse in the first place, it's capable of raising spirits of the dead. Whoa, wait, so she actually was guilty of using dark magic instead of fake crystals? Inquired Babs. And we just returned from the bathroom. She immediately noticed the glance of Granny and Big Mac Shire. What, something the matter? You don't seem surprised that your 2 cousins look like wolves when you came in, went Granny. Only reason that would be true is y'all already knew both of them were cursed. So you can't figure it out on our own, admitted Apple Bloom. No, I didn't necessarily want her to know, blame family and all. You told the others, didn't you? Apple Bloom, you know how serious a matter this is. Well, keep it for your whole family, but tell your friends. Wham! Interrupted Applejack. I'll give her a space like what I figured you'll say. Like fair, she did tell us because she wanted to spare us the pain of whatever happened to me. Granted, it's no better than what I did when I became a werewolf, but since the Applejack said, listen, Blooming, you were responsible for what got Tiara in such a state following that Woodstone, weren't you? Please. Apple's head sunk low, and he lowered one barrel to the floor. And I'm betting that while he knows wrong now, he understands how that's landed us in the situation we're currently in. Lance sakes. I'll bet Cyril Spoon knows it's true, all things considered. She does, but she's on the outside, said Babs. I doubt that, Babs. And what's he did with Diamond, the guy Apple Bloom alone with that monster? No, that was all Tiara's doing, corrected the proud filly. After Apple Bloom saved Silver from that fake flood, her leg was broken. If you remember, Silver said she was providing cover for Tiara, being at the little filly's room, and while in reality, that big best was laying trail dog trees to lead Apple Bloom to Fair Vista without any putting new. Yeah, I forgot Tiara and Vista were working together, confessed Applejack. Still don't make Silver trustworthy for being out in secret, though. Actually, ever since he spent down to Tiara, Silver's been hanging out with the Crusaders, and says he won't tell anybody else what's going on. So does anybody know Applejack's a werewolf? Constantly asked Mac. I don't think so, replied Apple Bloom. I only heard the Crusader say she was a werewolf. Yes, I know those bad, but at the time I kind of just turned into one myself was thinking. No way you probably don't know it was me where's his werewolf again. Yeah, because he plays his foot, or he says simple little line, it's very better than nothing does. Nothing? That's green. I just see the pony that came down drunk and made it seem by the chance to get to a race or something. Yeah, there's just he got turned a werewolf too. I don't think we never got the full story. At least that's what I think was being about here, said Big Mac, frowned upon his muzzle. I don't think that makes a choice. There's a lot that needs to be explained, sighed Applejack. Tiara, are you okay in there? Boomed the filthy rich behind the door. Yes, Dad, I'm fine. I'm just doing some intensive study, called back Diamond. You've been doing a lot of it recently. It's got your mother and I concerned. Are you alright? Perfectly fine. It's just I decided to apply myself more to my studies. My grades have been slacking somewhat, and I don't find that acceptable. Alright then. So it's good to hear you putting all your work into your education. But at the very least, come out for some air now and then, alright? Sure thing, Dad. Tiara waited a few minutes until the sound of her father's footsteps were no longer heard. And having been severely punished for trying to pull an incredibly mean prank, was already been told. Obviously, the princess and her cohorts were covering up Fair Fist's involvement. It turns out werewolves were among the citizens of Ponyville, Silver never publicly denouncing her by severing her friendship. Yas Tiara, ever exposed to the truth, had dropped sorely. Even more so following the disaster, as Fair Fist had truly vanished, and there was no way to contact her. But I don't need her. I don't need any pony, said Diamond, as she put the final touches on her plan. Her studies had involved extensive study of fields she normally considered the domain of unpopular nerds. Desperate times called for desperate measures, however. Without anything else to occupy her time, she was forced to resort to the formerly unthinkable. Now, on a large sheet of paper in front of her, multiple colors of crayon was the ultimate plan to expose the wolf among the sheep. Rather, the bad apple among the right ponies. This was all for nothing. But this time Diamond was absolutely sure she made all the necessary provisions to ensure Apple Bloom would be exposed for what she was. Silver would come crawling back, begging for Tiara to take her back as a friend. History books would forever proclaim her name as the pony who accomplished what Princess Alicorn could not. And even if Princess Alicorn could do this, he would do it nearly close as adorably as Diamond Tiara.